Okay, so if you are a new parent and you've never had a student in color guard before, I'm going to kind of just talk very briefly about what color guard is. So in the fall season, we are the visual kind of component storytellers for the band. So we're a section of the band, kind of like the percussion section is. So we perform with the band at all the football games they do. We go to their contests. We do parades, pep rallies, certain events with the communities, good stuff like that. In the winter season, we separate from the band. We're by ourselves. So we go inside in a gym. It's just us and the speaker, and we get a cool chance to kind of show off exactly what color can do when we're by ourselves and kind of push ourselves. We dance, we spin all sorts of equipment, flags, rifles, sabers. So it is like a full year thing. It's just kind of split into two different sections once we get to that mid-year point. Okay, so I have the schedule here. Let me get it on both. Okay, so for the summer schedule, we have one coming up in June. It starts on June 1st through 4th. It's a 4-day thing right after school gets out, just to get everybody familiar with like color guard basics. We have a second one, a little 3-day camp right at the beginning of July, end of June. And then we have another 3-day camp right before band camp starts, July 21st to 23rd. After that, we have 2 weeks of band camp. So that's when we'll finally be color guard and band together. We'll start learning the show. It's a lot of fun. So it's not like 2 straight weeks of just rehearsal. Like they do like events. We have like a block party, right, Mr. Dennis, and like we go out to restaurants and stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
Socials, we have spirit nights, we have treats for the kids after rehearsals, water balloon fights, pies in the face, like lots of fun stuff that the kids get to do.
Yeah. So those are all required. I know that we have vacations and stuff we go on during summer. So I ask that if there's a like planned like, hey, we're going to be out of town for 2 days in band camp, like let us know as soon as we can so we can get that taken care of. And then if you're a returning member, you want to be on weapon, we have weapon sectionals every Tuesday. So it's going to be like 4 hours every Tuesday, so that we're not eating into color guard camp time. And those aren't all required, but just know that if I have 2 people I'm looking at for a weapon spot and someone comes to all 6 versus someone only attends 2, I'm probably going to take the person that's at all 6. Okay. So just think about that. You don't have to be at every single week. We do weapon stuff, but it's something to keep in mind if that's a spot you're going for. And then again, if you've never done fall with us, this is what our schedule is going to look like going forward. Monday nights after school, we have about a 3-hour rehearsal. Last year it was 4 to 7. Might be a little different, might be the same this year, but it's about that time right after school gets out. Tuesday through Friday morning before school starts, we have a rehearsal for 1 hour each day. And then we'll have Friday night games. We have a couple Saturday contests. It's near the end of our fall season, like starts in October, right? That October, we have a couple Saturday contests.
And if it's worth mentioning for everyone at home too, like the unique thing about our schedule this year is that we're playing Fort Worth schools. So Fort Worth has a lot of high schools, and they're limited to like maybe 3 facilities that they kind of balance between all their schools. So that's kind of pushed us to have some Thursday games and even some Saturday games. So just so you guys know, the schedule is going to be, well, the first game is on a Saturday. Then we have 3 Thursday games. Then we have another Saturday. Then we have 3 Fridays, 1 Thursday, and another Friday. So, I mean, it's kind of mixed a little bit, but it's going to be great because the games that we have on Thursdays at least give the kids a feeling of like a 3-day weekend, so to speak. Unless it's like October and we've got those Saturday contests that he was talking about. But we look forward to those Saturday contests. That's like the big milestone that we're kind of preparing towards. So by the time we get to that month, like our kids are really in the right mindset and focus to do those. And just so everybody knows, like the schedule that we typically carry, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. At some points, it feels like it's pretty busy and go, 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 but then it cools off a lot. And then it kind of ramps up again. And that's okay, because as parents, we kind of live that calendar anyway. Sometimes it's really busy and then it cools off a little bit and then it gets busy again. And that's a really good skill for our students at this age to kind of come to grasp with and understand how to manage their time and how to plan and how to communicate in advance and do all those kind of things. So that's why like the band program, guard, percussion is so good for our students, because it gives them a chance to really develop in all of the holistic aspect of being a good overall rounded person.
Yeah, and so that's about all I have for schedule. Winter Guard is kind of far in the future, so we'll talk about that. If you run it this year, it'll be similar. We'll probably do 2 nights after school rehearsal, and then we have some Saturday shows. So my virtual friends, if you want the schedule, I will send out. The in-person people have a physical paper, but I'll send you an email with all the dates right after the meeting's over, so you're not missing out. Okay, so let's talk about marching spots next.
Oh, look at that.
So I don't anticipate anybody being a secondary, but I'm just going to go over what they are just in case. Primary spot is someone who's in the color guard. You perform at all events with everybody. You have a spot, you're marching it. If something comes up to where you have to be put into a secondary role, you won't necessarily have a spot on the field with the band, but you will still perform at things where we're not competing, like football games, parades. You'll do any event, basically stuff that's not contest or we're not competing. So things that might get you into a secondary role is, it doesn't apply to you guys, but if you were to come in super late into the color guard, you might not get a full spot because you don't have enough time to learn the full show. At the bottom, it says determined by attendance attitude. So if you end up missing the entire summer, you're probably not going to get the same kind of spot as somebody that's there every single day working super hard. And then attitude, don't be a bad person. I think that's pretty basic. Don't steal, don't break the school rules, and you'll get a spot. And then I have at the bottom as well, grades affect eligibility. Just know that we do no pass, no play. And we have some ideas to help people get to passing that we use this winter. So if you're struggling in a class, we might set up some sort of study hall or tutoring with another student to help get you back to passing. But if you end up failing at a grade check, like a progress report or report card, you don't get to play, which is perform at a game or a show until you're passing again at the next one. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Grades are super important when we're doing marching band, especially. Okay, don't log out when I show you fees, okay? Just stick with me, it'll be okay. Okay, so if you were with us last year the first time, it was a little bit less expensive than this. And that is because we did not do a full show. Okay, so we did a less intensive drill and flag silk, like everything was toned down. We didn't buy costumes, so that's why it's a little bit less expensive. And even looking at it at the price, like you see a 500, it might be a little bit scary, but that does pay for the entire year. So you're not just paying for a fall show, it's paying for the fall plus the winter guard, which doesn't really exist at other schools. Like, we're super blessed to have the opportunity that we can pay one flat fee and that carries you all the way through the spring semester. Okay, so if you look, we have $500 in membership fees. That's what everybody in the band pays. And that covers like show design, staff, traveling, costumes. We do have meals, Mr. Dennis provided? Some meals provided. And then the color guard specifically has an extra $75 fee to cover the flags we spend and rifles, stuff that the band doesn't touch, so that it's a little bit more fair. So the band's not paying for all your stuff. And if you're a brand new member, there's about $150 in consumables you need to buy. That's one time only your first year. So like our warm-ups that we wear, if you see everyone wearing the black and red warm-ups, gloves, band duffel bag, and guard shoes is essentially what that covers. Okay, and that's only first year, or if you're returning, you might need to replace something if it has a hole or something like that. And we do offer, like, the boosters are super happy to do payment plans to help you with that. If you can't pay it all up front, they can work something out with you. And I think Mr. Dennis wants to talk a little bit about fees as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the thing that I want to reinforce for everyone is that the fees that we cover for the band students is close to about $900 to $1,000 is what it costs us to pay for each student in our band program. And we have a lot of fundraisers that we put in place to be able to supplement that additional, let's say, $400 to $500 or $600 per student. Really, if it wasn't for our boosters, that would push us to have about $1,000 fee per student to be in the band program. we can, for example, side by side with other programs in the district or in the area, like for example, a Hebron, it's probably like a $1,400 fee to do marching band. And that doesn't even guarantee that students will be able to participate. That's just like what it costs to do band over there. Same thing in like Marcus High School, in the Prosper schools and in Frisco, those are like $700, $800 costs per student for their band fee. And on top of that, they also fundraise because it costs a lot of money to do what we do in our activity. Our kids get a great level of support from our boosters and also from the district. And then the fee that you pay, though it might seem like a lot, it doesn't have to be paid all up at front. We do accept a deposit at the beginning of the year. And then we want to have all of our band fees paid off, let's say by like October-ish. And in some cases, if a family needs a little bit of an extension, we have extensions available. We push it out a little bit. So that we can cover all the expenses that we have for the band, whether it's clinicians or the guard costumes. Usually a costume for our guard members is about $160. I'll pay that for each one of our guard members for the fall and also for the spring. And then we also get them like tarps for their guard shows that cost about $3,000 to $4,000. Plus the flags, which cost about $50 each. There's just so many expenses. The marching show alone is about $35,000. And the budget that we run is nearly $120,000 on average year to year. So it really is a major bargain. When you look at like all the small components, which is what our booster board does, like they sit down and they look at it very carefully because they want to be great stewards of your money and the investment that you're making in your child. So I don't want that to really frighten you, but I want you to know that we're doing the very best that we can with our resources to give your children the absolute very best experience. Even on our campus, our Chavals who are in the drill team, like their costs to be in that organization are close to like $1,200, I believe. So there's an expense there really in any activity that you go to that has a meaningful, worthwhile investment of time. And so we try to provide the very best that we can for you guys, our parents, our students, and we will always be trustworthy of the finance that you invest in your children. So it is one of those things where you get what you pay for kind of thing. And we want you to get the very best. And we're dedicated to doing that for you guys. The guard fee in past years, like this is my 6th year here. And in my first year that I got here, there used to be a like $400 fee for the guard, and then a $300 in the fall, and then a $300 fee in the spring. It was really expensive. Our guard members were actually paying more than anybody else. And so we really brought it down to where there was just one fee for everyone. But for the guard, we would have an additional small club fee of like $75 for additional guard specific only kind of thing. So we've already made some really great leaps in kind of balancing out the fee aspect of it. And we're really happy that you guys are active in this program because I'm incredibly devoted to the guard program here. And Mr. Mooney is the most absolute thoroughest guard director that we have ever had here on campus. So we have incredible leadership, and we're invested in him just as much as he's invested in our students here. So we're very thankful for that. Just as a future comment here, if you ever do have a comment or question or need for assistance, please email me, call me, text me. All my information is available online, so that if you need me to kind of participate in helping or problem solving or extending payments or, conversing with like the boosters on your behalf, I'm more than happy to do that for you guys at any time. But I want you to know that you're going into something that's very, very highly supported by us. And it's activity that we value a lot for this program. As he said, it's the most visual component of our marching band is having our flag and guard department. So thank you, Mr. Mooney.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Dennis. And I hope the biggest takeaway from that for everybody is that if there's a problem with money, like please talk to us first. I hope that it's never an issue with somebody doing color guard. Okay, so if something comes up, you say, we can't make a payment this month, or we might have to extend it for a while, just let us know and we'll always do our best to work it out. Don't want money to be a reason somebody can't do the activity, okay? And then we'll go over more fees at registration. I think they'll have more specifics about what needs to be paid when, all that stuff. Okay, So next, we're looking for a guard parent. So if anybody would like to volunteer, if you have a friend who has a student in color guard you think would be good for that role, please let us know. If you don't know what a guard parent does, they're kind of a liaison between me and the other parents. If they have questions, you can ask the guard parent. We're looking for someone to help chaperone guard trips to come with football games and contests. The benefit of that is you always get to see your kid perform, which is super cool. We would ask that a guard parent helps with fundraising to help bring down some of the guard costs, guard specific costs we have, especially in winter guard, because that's a whole nother beast with money. Someone that any parent can go to for questions. So if you're interested, I'll have my email at the end as well, but just let me know. Or if you have anybody else you think might be a good fit, let us know. We're hoping to have somebody involved this year with the color guard. And the second to last slide. So what to do next if you're wanting to join color guard. So you need to register for the class if you have not yet. It's 8th period and it's all year, but it's only one block. So it's not like some other activities like band or a sport where it's double blocked and you do it every single day. We only meet every other day to try to fit that in your schedule as best as we can. So email your counselor, email the high school counselor as soon as you can, so they're not worrying about it over the summer. Band registration is that next Saturday? So not this Saturday, next Saturday, May 22nd at the high school. We're doing it in the cafeteria. In the gym. We're going to do it in the big gym. And it's going to be staggered. I don't have exact times for you, but it's like seniors come at 9, then every hour sophomores, juniors, sophomores, then freshmen last. So we're not all crowded at the same time. If you have questions about that, we'll send out emails closer to that. And everybody needs to get a physical done. So again, if you're in person, I gave you a paper. I will send it out over email after the meeting. If you're virtual, we all need to get a physical done by our doctor before our first rehearsal. Okay, and they need to fill out this form for you to make sure that there's no problems with you exercising or doing color guard. They can anticipate. You can't participate unless that's done by June 1st. So if you show up on June 1st and you don't have your physical turned in, you're gonna have to go home or sit and watch, and it's not gonna be very fun. So just please make sure you're getting that taken care of. If you need help finding a doctor to do that, let us know. We can help you find some cheap alternatives to like a regular physician. And then last slide, some contact info. There's my email and Mr. Dennis's email on the slide. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know. Join the Facebook page. It's called Creekview High School Mustang Marching Band. Just go and request to join that, and you'll get to see all the action shots and information Mr. Dennis posts every week. And if you're not at auditions, but you're on the virtual email, please send me an email so I know that you exist and you want to join Color Guard, so we can figure out what we can get you to do without doing auditions. Okay, so if you guys have any friends that you know might want to join, just send them my email and we'll get that taken care of. Do you have anything else, Mr. Dennis?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think that last point that he made to kind of speak upon that is a really important thing to relay to you guys. If your children have a great friendship with someone who's not involved in other activities and is kind of looking for a place to go, the more of your friends that you bring into the program, then the more friends your students will have and be able to spend time with. And the activity is open to boys and girls. It's not exclusive to like, oh, it's just girls only kind of thing. Like it's open to anyone because it's a performing type of activity. So we want to encourage you to bring more people in. I'm going to continue to be active in finding like incentivizing ways to reward our students for bringing in additional people. For example, if you're able to say, hey, I have a friend of mine who's willing to come into guard, and they come and they actually pay their fees and they do their thing, I might be able to slide a break over your way where it's like, hey, here's a $75 credit for doing that, or here's a $100 credit for being able to do that. And that's something that like I really want to extend to you guys, but and I know it's challenging sometimes to get your friends to be like, you want me to have to give up extra time? Oh no, I'd rather play video games or do like, it's kind of hard sometimes to convince our friends to do something that is a big picture bigger than them because it requires like effort, right? But in this day and age, it's so valuable that our children put their feet in the sand and really do the work, because once they get out of high school, it's a shock. Like, we have to actually be responsible, right? And if they can kind of go through 4 years of systematically accomplishing and overcoming challenges and adversity, they're going to be resilient people immediately right after high school. And they will probably have gained like leadership qualities and all that. So I want you to encourage your friends to participate in this, because the more friends you have in, then the more fun it is for everyone. Um, we do want you to also know that grades, they matter a lot to us. So if your children are worried about well, if I do band and I'm doing school, it's like I'm going to fail because I'm not going to have enough time. That's not like the way we want our kids to think about it, or parents particularly. I want you to think that if you're in band, then you've got at least a safety net that is going to encourage and motivate your children to do the work to pass their classes, outside of just having to, like, shake them around at home and say, I'm going to take your phone away if you don't get your grades up. It gives us an opportunity to team up with you in regards to getting their grades up, because we want them to be accountable. So that's a component that is also important for parents to know, that we're here to cover all that. We are on social media. If you can join us on there, I try to put a lot of photos of our guard friends and percussion and jazz and everyone on there. So that gives you a chance to kind of look into what we do. And my last comment for everyone is, we really want our parents to get involved, like involved with what your children are doing here in the high school, because this is the last opportunity that you will get to see your kids in action. Because once they go off to college, they're gone. They're doing their own thing, and it's not as easy to just drive up to their campuses and see them do what they do. So really, this is the final stage that you get to see them in their element, be a part of the boosters, be a part of volunteering, coming to the guard contest, chaperoning, being a guard liaison. Get involved right now, because this is that final, most critical point in your child's life that you want to participate in before they step out and do their own thing on their own with more independence. So that's coming from a dad's point too. My daughter is 10, and as much as I can, even though it thins out my schedule a lot, I try to do everything and be present in all the things that she does, because I won't be able to do it for forever. So I just share that comment with you guys as a dad myself. Thank you, Mr. Mooney.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, that's all we have.